Didn't see the animation in time.
Judging by Amal's reflexes in the previous game, I'd say these
I think it's a lot easier for him too, because he just has to press the button, whereas the Guinevere has to actually choose which direction to dash away from.
Just tap it twice. It doesn't matter what direction. Just get me out of there.
If you tap it twice, you're dashing into the Daytona as well.
I mean, you gotta try, right?
You gotta try something. Oh, the
I like this. I like this so much.
Dude, the tank melters on the side of Todak is actually disgusting.
It's just obscene, right? I mean, Court, Carry, they both have the same hairstyle, I guess. But the true damage is what makes life for Barras hard. And then here comes the Yuzong. We talked about dive. It's an all support for BRD.
I was wondering. Ooh!
Ah, yes.
We get the C-trap on that Harif here. That's going to be very effective against the carry as well. There is a reason the Harif is so frequently banned. He just has a good early lane matchup into almost any marksman in the game. But ooh!
What?
Wow.
Wow.
Dang.
Mincetar.
Holy cow.
Dang.
All right, Oi. All right, Momo.
Woo! That's some spicy stuff right there. Mincetar into the Yuzong lane. I have to think about this.
I'm telling you, it ain't Todak without these picks, you know? It's not like it's a completely new team. I know Chico isn't around, but Momo is still there. You know, Zyme is still there. Momo has been around since like what, the M3 era onwards?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Been a while.
What I will say is that Mincetar here will lose to Yuzong in lane, but his value comes in the team fights. Not only does he stop Harif and Arlet from dashing, he denies the Daytona's welcome.
That is also true. Interesting. So it looks like these neutral objectives are going to be a lot more highly contested, especially if Mincetar gets into the middle of those fights. But overall, I mean, the lane dominance, I feel like Barracuda, they might want to change up the strat. Let's not team fight. Let's just focus on these lanes and we can win.
Well, we'll find out whether or not that focus will get them the victory that they're looking for in their debut match of the season. Todak versus Barracuda Esports. The score is tied. Best of one will determine victory.
I'm just going to say I called it 2-1, but I'm not sure which team is going to get the 2 points at this stage. As even as it could get. Early on in the backstage, we did discuss with our colleagues from the Basel side, like, oh wow, if Todak gets game 1, will it still be a 2-1? And I was like, yeah, I think it will be a 2-1. I think that's the ideal situation. The focus did shift a little bit, at least for Grace, putting the attention onto the Yuzong lane, that something that Sadafa mentioned. You will beat the Mincetar in lane. Grace understands that.
It's an interesting play here to start whittling down the gold crab. I wonder if this is meant to go to Hesu or if they're really trying to funnel Amal here. We're gonna see in a few moments.
It's going to Grace.
Oh,
Getting fast, quicker, closer to level 4.
Okay.
An interesting concept. I don't think we've seen anyone do this yet, right?
Yeah,
No.
I mean, it doesn't happen often because now Amal doesn't get to be level 4. I don't know.
I mean, he just needs one more camp. He's fine.
He'll be for it.
Yeah, he'll eventually get it, but it's like, I don't mind a little bit of extra. I mean, maybe it's just to find the breakpoints, right? The EXP breakpoints for everybody. And I think it's starting to look a little more interesting as this game is going to go by. I feel like Barracuda, as of right now, just dominate your lanes. There's nothing much to fear here, right? Especially since you have the jungler on your side of the map. I think that making these forceful plays, these smaller skirmishes, are going to be more valuable at the end of the day.
So I would say when you give your roamer the mid lane wave right before a turtle spawns, you need to wait a while before they hit 4. Since Grace took the crab, he's going to hit 4 instantly after the wave.
Yeah, he will actually have it for the turtle fight. So that could be an interesting piece of new tech here. Barracuda already has the stronger teamfight comp. If their roamer has ult before Afflicia, this could be interesting.
And Revelation's freaking out. He's like, wait, he's level 4, boys!
Here it comes, final slash, Daytona's welcome, gobble, gobble, gobble. It's a
Gary gets
stolen
it!
away by Gary, the thief. Out in the daylight, but first blood goes over to Barracuda. The King's Calling gets used by Momo, but he has to flicker away. Pulled back by the Barrage. It's Grace on top of him again, and the Purify this time. It's a follow-up. It's Barracuda with 2.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Very funny.
I'm pretty sure Amal could not even see him on his screen because he's at an awkward position. He's on the bottom right side, which usually is where your attack buttons are and your skills, so you probably can't see Gary walking up.
He was just too busy eating Rafflesia there. Like, he was enjoying his lunch a little bit too much, forgot he needed to retreat. Gary just comes on in and grabs it for himself. That's going to be nice for Todak, but they do still end up losing 2 players there in that fight. So Barracuda still with the slight advantage. And we can see that they're continuing trying to put pressure. So Gary, he is looking for Hesu here.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea because Gary now has a decent lead against AML so far, but he can't be wasting too much time. He needs to influence the lanes somehow to kind of skew them into their favors, to have at least one side that can reliably walk out.
Too bad Momo didn't land a pull. That could have made all the difference. So Gary unfortunately doesn't get anything in the bottom lane, forced to reset. And to make it worse, Hesu actually stayed in the lane. I thought he would recall, but there was no need for him to do so. Now that lane is just going to be in a neutral state.
Yeah, I do like that Hesu could detect that something seemed to be a little bit off. Didn't know where Gary was on the map, and it did feel like Mobo was playing a little more aggressively than he normally would want to. So being able to stay close to the tower, even though he should be winning 1v1s, is very clear that he knows something's going on.
Dude, everybody's holding each other hostage. Nobody wants to show themselves on the map. It's just like, where's everybody? Where's the roamers? I don't know where the junglers are.
Information is a resource.
I would say Grace, he has the reach of the final slash is a bit longer.
She's just getting close.
I mean, he had the Purify anyways, but still.
I mean, sure, it would have been nice to at least break the Purify for the upcoming turtle that's coming up.
Do you... Does make you miss the old Arlet? You don't have to kind of buffer that.
The good old days.
Good old days.
If Carrie had any hair on the side of her head, it would have been cut off by the final slash.
It would have been.
Just a casual fade.
No steal attempt this time, unfortunately. Rafflesia dragged back, got a flicker to safety, and now the pull into the King's Calling. Rafflesia making the big play, but the damage just not there. Even with Zyme Senpoi's laser is not enough.
Dang, I really thought Rafflesia was going to die to the shot residue there, but he still is able to at least get a skill 1 out to get a bit of regeneration for himself. Either way, this game, I thought it was going to be like super lane focus, a lot of like a high kill count game, a lot of action happening in either EXP or gold, but I think both sides recognize that a single kill could really skew how you actually walk around the map.
I think both these teams have gained quite a deep respect for one another after their performances in Game 1 and 2, understanding that, hey, they are both fish in the ocean, and either one of them could be the predator of this food chain. They just want to make sure it's not going to be them. So a very safe play happening right now. I do feel like Rafflesia, though, what happened to him in that last fight did seem a little bit messy, because I'm pretty sure he missed the I'm offended after flickering back into the tower.
But actually, I think he pulled them back. They just didn't have the damage to...
I'm pretty sure I saw the I'm offended go in the opposite direction.
Hey man, either way, you know, if you're Barracuda, you're not gonna complain too much about it.
That's also true. Maybe we'll see it in one of the replays coming in sooner rather than later. Hesu, having the time of his life, he honestly should be dominating this like really, really hard against Momo's side, like prior to level 4. But I think Momo has played it very, very smartly, and he's also using the collector skin, so maybe that's also why he's so intimidating.
That is true. You
don't want to die looking good. You know?
Nor do you want to die to someone who is looking good. It just makes them look better.
Yeah, bury me in my casket with my Gucci shoes, right? My Gucci bags, bro.
Speaking of that, Hesu is using the base skin for Yuzong, right?
Oh, wait, yeah, wait, hold
on. Not even the M5
it's
Prime.
Not even,
yeah, it's not even the Prime Yuzong.
It's not even the Collector as well.
Actually?
I think so.
I haven't been paying attention the whole time.
Dragon,
I've been blinded by the Collector.
Dragon was kind of dark tone, so I believe it is.
It should be, it should be. Now, next turtle is coming up, and it looks like Barracuda is going to start this lore dance first on their side of the map.
Okay, maybe I was wrong.
No, he has the...
he has it.
Oh, yeah, he has the...
what was it called?
Oh, wait, hold on. Let's see this fight first.
All right, we get a cash on the top side. This time onto Grace. King's Calling also used Grace. The Petrify comes out from this Yuzong, buying enough time for the turtle to be secure, and Trap just gets a solo kill on the Momo. There's nothing you can do about it. Gary ends up falling as well, and still Barracuda getting the better end of that trade.
It's the Exorcist skin. That's the
Exorcist,
one.
yes. That's what it is.
It took me a while to get to it, but now the tier 1 has already fallen from the side of Todak's top side, and Barracuda, they're in good position. While this has all been happening, Shizuo's like, hey, I'm going to get a free wave down on that bot side. I'm going to be able to trade the turret back on as well. Looks like he's having the time of his life.
Keeping it close, still a 2,000 gold difference. Not as much as you would have wanted if you're Barracuda, right? Which means Todak, they're still within arm's reach of getting this game back into control.
Yeah, but they do still need to be very careful here. Barracuda is now in the driver's seat of this game. Todak has a lot more tools compared to last game, so they're afforded some chance to make mistakes here. but that window is going to start closing. Trap has already gotten enough farm to the point where he can start participating in team fights, and while Shizo is farming pretty well, I imagine we're going to want to see him participate a little bit to get some of that extra goal, because overall, Barracuda, we can't let them continue snowballing if you're on the Todak side.
I don't know. I feel like, considering how Barracuda is playing as of right now, it feels like nothing's really happening. It feels like Todak makes the move and Barracuda looks to punish, and it's going to come to a point where they're going to stalemate each other of, hey, whoever moves first essentially loses.
At one point, you also have to take initiative. I think being a responsive team, being someone a reactive team, isn't necessarily a bad thing, but at one point, that has to change. When you get the lead, that's where you need to try and push it. There are plenty of examples from previous seasons where teams with big leads just end up losing the game because they didn't utilize it as well enough.
I mean, that's the risky thing about Mobile Legends in this current meta. Just the comeback mechanics, it's so easily achieved. You could have like the worst early game in the world, but if you're mid and late game, one fight is all it takes to turn these big leads around, and eventually it's as if the entire early game didn't even matter.
We literally saw that in game 1 where Todak was able to get that comeback victory here, so we can see how much more respectful the teams are right here. Barracuda understanding that, like you mentioned, as long as Todak are the ones making the first move, they will have more tools to be able to prolong the fight. Especially since we saw in that previous gang, Grace was able to survive so much longer than Todak expected and buy time for backup to arrive.
I do like how Todak actually found out where Amal was just by poking the lore a little bit. Look at Grace though. He's concealed from the back. Final slash unfortunately missed it, but he was to dash to the back to delay Momo, and this should allow them to get the lore, no problem. Gary a bit late to the party. The Furious Dive actually knocks them out, but here comes Iron Senpai with the laser flicker! And that is just perfect for Todak. A clap back to find a full team wipe from Barracuda.
Interesting. An interesting series of events here. A very clean combo coming in from Todak's side, and Gary is like, all right, guys, I'm not going to be part of that play. I'm going to try to steal this Lord real quick.
And it still worked out here. Barracuda unfortunately grouped up just a little bit too much. Oh, please, they're careful there. But the Mystic Gush from Zion Senpai, this man wants to be the MVP again.
He wants it
He's
bad.
going to do the most damage at the end of this game for sure.
Oh, interesting. Interesting how this game is actually progressing in this particular manner, right? Because Barracuda, once again, that fight was kind of awkward to a certain degree. Like, Hesu is very clearly trying to zone out Gary in a lot of these fights, and it kind of felt like he tunnel visioned on the entire situations, even after the big combo came out from Momo dropping his all into Reflection going in for the Am Offended.
Gary didn't get to steal the Lord, but he still controlled the members of Barracuda on the way out. And in those tight corners, King's calling, you are Harif, you're not moving at all.
And without that movement, they're not able to escape from the Mystic Gush. So that is the combo that Todak has been waiting for this whole time. You'd think that Barracuda would be a little bit more wary of this potential combination here, but the fact that they allowed that to happen means that the 2K net worth lead they've been struggling to maintain this whole time instantly swings in Todak's favor. So with less structures overall now, we'll see whether or not they want to take a more aggressive or defensive approach in the next few minutes.
It also could be because Grace missed that final slash, right? Okay, Daytona's welcome, this time on the Momo. Looking for the one-shot, Momo goes down and Trav collects the kill, but Shizo, he's doing some great damage. Grace comes back with Immortality, Petrify Furious Dive. This time to punish Reflecia. Barracuda not out just yet.
Nicely played here. A good punish onto Momo here, making sure that he doesn't even get the King's calling off in time. And that's why Amal, he's been very attentive this game. He's been making sure, the Daytona's welcomes isn't just used willy-nilly. He is looking for key targets, and he's making sure that he's not just standing in the middle of 5 people holding and charging the Daytona's welcome. He's keeping it in very, very short bursts to minimize the time that he could get punished.
I mean, we can see very quickly as well that Barracuda Esports has gained the ability to retain their nerves here. Even though they made a big mistake in that previous fight, they instantly upped the tempo instead of trying to play it slow and safe to regroup themselves, knowing that as long as Todak are not able to group up together, their individual heroes are not strong enough to take on the entire Barracuda squad.
Though I would say we have reached the point of critical mass for Shizo as well. Carry 3-0 and 1 with the Brace Might. It's a tank carry build. So far, no one from Barracuda has been able to remotely touch him.
No, but I mean, the same could be said about Trap, right? Because Trap has been doing a phenomenal job as long as he's not within the King's calling.
Yes.
He generally does a good, he does a lot of damage.
Positioning going to be key as we enter into the Lord contest here between these two teams. I think there's still enough structures on both sides that this one Lord won't be enough to end the game for either side unless they're able to get some kind of team wipe situation, which means that a lot of care is going to need to be taken here.
I would say the good thing for Barracuda is that Amao is 2 levels ahead of Gary. So Retrify should be 100% in his favor.
We say that. This could be cast a curse moment.
80%.
80.
As long as he's not eating. Yeah.
That's also true.
That's
as long
also
as he's
true.
not in the Daytona's Welcome animation. But they need to reset this Lord here because, again,
They're not
look at the
letting
side waves.
They're not letting reset. Black Dragon
Conceal.
into Conceal. They really want this Lord Barracuda. Gary gets the knockout onto Grace, and Grace is going to survive to all of that. Gary now gets dove. Amao finds the Lord, and Zyme Senpoi, he is isolated. Trap does go down, though. Shizo finds the kill, and now the pull for Reflecia. It's a clap back from Todak, and Shizo collects 2.
Yeah, probably a little bit of an overextension there with them being able to survive the catch by Gary on the side. You could tell why Trap felt comfortable enough to pop the Zaman Force and jump on in, but Momo was just waiting for that. Once the Harif was caught in the King's Calling, he had no way of escaping, and that meant that even though Barracuda were able to secure the Lord, Todak came out on top in terms of bodies surviving, which means that this objective means nothing to them.
Exactly. I mean, Barracuda, they got to set up some protocols. They need to know exactly where Momo is. And yes, it's a good idea. It's like, oh, yes, we want to do this Lord Dance. We want to make sure that Gary can't necessarily get in on the pit comfortably, but at the same time, there's just so much counter-engage from Todak's side. Their lineup is designed for it.
Let's go Meteor for Momo.
Oh, I just realized that's a damage build Mincetar.
He's ready to tank up some damage and also dish out some. This is 2 Lords in a row where you get a net negative. Barracuda got nothing out of it.
It really, I mean, there's nothing much they can really do about it as well, right? Shizo, he's max build at this point. He's getting extra money just to swap items for fun.
Rose Gold Media doesn't even need Winds of Nature, realizes that Winds of Nature not important, and also they can't even get on top of me. I'm not worried about getting dove.
Yeah, it's a little less important to get Wind of Nature when your opposing marksman is a Harif here, so it's mostly magic damage, and Hesu doesn't really seem too interested in going for Shizo a lot of the time, which I think it might be time for him to start going for the carry instead. Maybe try and bait out the Purify before these fights start, because 5-0 means that Shizo is pretty busted right now.
I have to agree with that. Man, it's a tough position to be in. If you look at the damage dealt ranking, it's Zyme Senpoi, it's Shizo, Zyme Senpoi, and then AJ, and then Hesu, right? But the difference between AJ and Hesu's overall damage compared to Shizo and Zyme Senpoi, 6,000 overall. So we're seeing that Todak is getting more effective fights.
You look at Trap, he is more than 10,000s behind Zyme Senpoi and Shizo.
It's pretty weird. I think Todak are quite happy about this as well. You would think that having to deal with a Yuzong means that you had to guard your backline quite a bit, but Hesu hasn't really been diving all the way, which means that both Shizu and Zyme Senpoi are sitting very comfortably and just dishing out DPS.
I think he's more than happy. Instead of trying to go for the backline and force, and basically just forcing out all the abilities coming up from Todak's side and not really getting much out of it, but to take the time, actually play towards that front side and wait for that opportunity to jump into the backline later on after the Black Dragon form is probably the most ideal, right? Because at the end of it, even if it's just a 2v1, if it's Reflecia plus Shizo against Hesu, I don't think Hesu ever gets a kill on Shizo.
No.
But at the very least, he can buy some space right now, right? I feel like that's what Barracuda is missing a little bit. They're jumping the gun in these fights. They're trying to be a bit too aggressive the moment that Todak engages on them. And it did work for them before, but it's clear that Todak has adjusted once again. So Barracuda needs to up their adaptability game.
I'd say that Hesu at this point in time has been relegated to more of a utility zoning role, right? Yudo does fall off as the game goes on. Reflecia with the concealed, scout out the map, doesn't see anyone. Grace coming from the bottom end of the map.
They're still going to just dance here. I have an even simpler solution to this. It's not just Hesu, it's just we need Grace to hit a final slash.
Oh, yes.
Just he needs to hit something now.
Missing some crucial ones. Maybe expand that flicker, right? You gotta reach the back, find the gourd, find the carry.
Yes.
And not just their hair.
Not just their hair.
Look, clean fades are nice, but like eventually we gotta call it quits here.
I prefer clean kills.
That's true.
I want clean plays.
No clean fades, just clean fades.
I will say the Lord is really hurting and is benefiting Amao because he has Guardian's helmet and Gary does not. Hit the Fear of Reflecia, losing half of that health bar. I'm offended used already. They want to commit Amao now. Daytona's welcome committed everything. They get rid of Gary. This is a good start by Amao. He's low as well. The Lord gets resetted. Do you really want to continue doing it? I don't think that's wise. Reflexia goes down. That's 2 from Todak, not in the fight. But Barracuda not in a condition to really go on to this full-on brawl. They wish to try to lease this though. Big damage from AJ to zone out the rest of Todak. Zaim Senpo and Shizo, they're walking up. Grace, now Flicker final slash. Only has a Momo. Pull back, but the Barrage finished off. Now the Lord is low. Gets reset at the last second. Zaim Senpo, the only one left alive, unfortunately, for Todak. Barracuda outlasting the Swordfishes.
Oof. Oh, I mean,
This is sweaty.
this is a very sweaty game. Are they still? Okay, they're not. They're not going.
I mean, if he steals it, can you imagine?
That would be too hilarious, too funny, in a matter of fact. I think this is just, you gotta give it to Amal, right? That wasn't even his team. That was Amal's overall game sense. He just knew, hey, if Ruby is going to attempt to stun me, to lock me down even for a second, Gary is going to jump on me, and then the whole team is going to jump on me, right? That was a very risky call to go for a 50-50 Daytona's welcome. It could have been a delayed attempt even from Reflexa to bait out his ult, but Amal, he got the call right.
It's not often that you take advantage of the CC immunity from Daytona's welcome in this way. It's usually more of a bonus for you to catch on to someone, but by using it preemptively to avoid being caught by Todak, Amal was able to keep himself alive in that fight, even at a tiny sliver of HP to secure the Lord, which unfortunately has been taken out quite quickly here by Todak.
I love it when a composition has 2 true damage dealers. And that was the first death for Shizzle.
Oh, that is...
yeah.
18 minutes.
After all, I mean, considering everything that has happened so far, I was hoping that this game would end up being similar to how Friday was in day 1, just because we're the most entertaining region. I haven't seen like a hard throw just yet.
You want to see a hard throw?
Hey man, that's what we're known for.
We were on the desk for one of those games. No, I will confidently say no.
Come on. Somebody's gonna get impatient here.
Now, I know that we want to have a Malaysian signature on the international stage, but I don't want throwing to be it.
Okay, fine. We just won't get out of groups again.
All right, then let's start throwing. All right.
Go back to throwing.
I feel like that's the same thing.
No, I'll take it back. I want to go down looking good.
Yeah, man. Put on those Gucci slides while I'm in my casket, bro.
It's like if I get eliminated from groups because I dove the fountain, so be it.
At this point, I'm just gonna accept the recall spam.
Hey man, we gotta get known for something, dude. That's why we're the most entertaining region. We're 12 and 10, 20 minutes into this game. What are we, MPL PH or something? Come on, let's double the score.
We are 30 minutes away from that, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
We're getting there. Okay.
We gotta break the MAL record first. That's 47 minutes.
Oh, dude, no way. No way.
Yeah. On the second day of the first week.
On the second day as
Believe
well.
it? Yeah, that was crazy.
That actually is crazy. 30 seconds to the upcoming Lord, and so far, both Todak and Barracuda in a stalemate. It's like, as much as Barracuda want to go for this hard engage, Todak just has too much disengage and too much counter engage to actually make it worthwhile. 40% win rate prediction for Barracuda with 60.
Both roamers with the conceal.
Oh!
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? It's the ROG phone. It's A-Mouse, and this man is awake.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the interview. Is like, how did you have that reaction time? 164 hertz?
65.
Sorry, 65 hertz.
You're missing 1 hertz there.
Well, we'll get this full-blown combo. Okay, Grace, he's gone. Jesus tries to die, but Shizo, he's going to force the dragon to back off, and Todak, well, finding an opening.
Let's go, Lord. Let's go, Lord. Todak's already just going to move their way over. I mean, luckily, they're still following their fundamentals. They're sending Zaim Senpai to deal with the top wave in the meantime, but this should fall into the hands of Todak pretty easily.
Yeah, the goal of Barracuda here is to try and slow this down, get a reset if possible, but Grace down for 30 seconds, I think it's kind of unlikely. Todak is full control over the Lord Pit.
Just gonna force Hesu away. He doesn't have the Black Dragon Fall. Reflexia, he knows what's up. Just pull him back. The Eternal Guardian is not gonna do enough. Immortality has been popped. Hesu ends up going down, and the patience game has paid off for Todak, and now it is truly Lord time.
Yeah, Barracuda side getting a little impatient as well. Like, I mean, But the fact that Hesu already used the Black Dragon form, and as well as the Petrify, why go for an aggressive angle like that, right? You're probably waiting for Grace to be the person to do so, but he just spawned as well, and Amal should have been probably in that front to tank it first.
Ooh, we are definitely seeing some very calculated plays though from Todak, taking every single Lord fight slowly, making sure that even though the Lord is lost, they're gonna try and transition into a fight win so that they can clear it up. And then finally, now that they're able to get a couple of pickoffs, they go for the Lord, and this could be a chance for them to get that victory.
15 seconds for Jesus to come back, and Todak, they can feel the tide shifting. Amal with his body to try to keep this game within control. But Zyme Boy straight up flickers to the back, and Todak, they want the juggler. Swordfishers will not be denied. Ocean Derby claim, and the sea will be ruled by Todak to start off their debut.
Ooh, the legends of MPL-MY make a glorious return in their debut match of MPL Malaysia Season 13, proving that they are the top of this food chain and they are the biggest predator in the sea.
Oh man, that's got to be frustrating for Barracuda, right? A grueling 20-minute game, looking for the opportunity to engage, not given that chance as soon as the 15-minute mark occurred.
I think the craziest thing was that, okay, so the first two Lord didn't do much. Third Lord, unfortunately, also got melted, but the last one, oh, Grace, he was mirroring Reflecia the entire game. When Reflecia used Conceal, he did the same. He was trying to find an opportunity. But that pixel of a face spatial migration into Violet Requiem was what sealed the fate of Barracuda. The most minuscule of differences. Woof. And Abang Lord rejoicing